I'm Craig O, and join me on my adventures with Craig's cryptocurrency as we cover the blockchain, Web3, NFT, and cryptocurrency technologies. Interviewing the best in the industry, giving tips and tricks, and also sharing with you projects that I'm most excited about. You're watching Craig's Crypto Corner, the best in Web3, blockchain, NFT, and cryptocurrency technologies, interviews, and reviews. A strong community is key to the success of any project, especially in Web3. Non-fungible tokens known as NFTs and decentralized autonomous organizations known as DAOs will be part of my conversation today with Monica Rojas, who is head community manager for Upstream, which is a collective of virtual community with a shared Ethereum wallet. Members contribute money to the collective and vote on how those funds are utilized. I have been a member myself for the past 5 months with over 25,000 members, an early bird community of 7,000 members, and the NFT community, which I engage mostly with, of 3,000 members. I absolutely love it. The learning curve for NFTs and DAO projects, along with great alpha insight from the community participants, is strong. Members of Upstream can create their own DAOs, known as DAOs in a box, that will allow for voting rights, governance, community wallets, and events, and the ability to chat and connect. It is so powerful. I highly recommend that you check out the Upstream community. Monica is also a board member for the Shrimp Society, which is a group of elite young founders in Miami and major tech hubs throughout the world. She is also board member of Ocean's DAO, which supports ocean and ocean life throughout different initiatives. Welcome, Monica. How are you?
Good, and thank you for that intro, Craig. That was amazing.
Awesome. I appreciate it. You know, every time that we get through this, we start working on more of refining and making sure that we're presenting each of our amazingly selected guests in the best light possible. And what really impresses me about you is how you're managing a growing ecosystem that is educating people on NFTs and crypto and what's going on in the overall space of Web3. So I want to head into it with my first question for you. And it is, what is your favorite part of onboarding people onto Upstream community?
Yeah, so it's been like a crazy journey for the last, 8 months. I joined Upstream as a Web2 community manager. So I was kind of like brought into the NFT, the Web3 space myself. So I was able to really relate to our community members when you first hear about NFTs and you hear people are flipping NFTs or part of DAO. You're like, what does that even mean? So definitely one of my favorite things about educating people is creating that domino effect. So a lot of times when you educate people and you onboard somebody into Web3, they're going to want to do the same thing for somebody else. But also, like, with everything, right, you're stronger as a group. So imagine if you and your friends all were into the NFT space and you onboarded them, like it becomes kind of like a movement. And that's how Web3 has become so powerful today. So definitely it's just been figuring out ways to have fun with it, but also reward people for doing it, and then also inspiring people.
And I love it. And one of the things that you said on the first meetings that I hopped in on was if you want to engage and build relationships in the community, you have to continue to text people. I mean, indirectly in the instant message box, because sometimes you'll have somebody come on and present their platform, their project. And it's a great way to start to network indirectly and also directly to make and build those connections. So I want to talk to you about the DAO in a box, and it's currently being utilized on your platform. Now, obviously, you guys have your particular DAO. So might as well, why don't we talk about the DAO in a box and then talk a little bit about the main DAO for Upstream?
Yeah, yeah. So down in box is kind of like just like a fun word we use to like allow ourselves to be known about what we do. So what we mean by that, it's like we're a no code solution for launching a DAO. So it's what we call the easiest way to start a DAO. And we refer to it as a box because you have, if you're familiar with DAOs, you know, there's, or actually, let's start off by like just going over what DAOs are, just in case somebody doesn't know. So DAO stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization, and it's basically a community with a shared wallet. You put money together, you can do it with your friends or communities or even investment clubs or nonprofits. And as a group, you get a vote on what you do with the money. So whether it's hosting events, is it investing in different startups or buying land in the metaverse, it just makes it super easy. And the DAO space is so new that there hasn't been like one platform where you can actually do all your DAO involvement, right? So your voting, your tokenization, which means is like your badge or the way you get into the DAO, your treasury, like where your money's going to be held. So Upstream has found a way to bring all like the loose pieces of starting a DAO together, and that's why we call it a DAO in a box.
I love it. I love it. And yeah, the other thing that you made very clear on that, and I think for people to understand, is not only are you getting this great insight, I feel that DAOs are way more intimate than NFTs. And the reason I say that is because you're having to make big decisions with a group of people that will affect the group financially, which affects you directly. So these are things that are really important. I often speak directly of social currency as it relates to NFTs. And I feel that the social currency for the DAOs is much more intimate, as I had said before. And the shared wallet allows people to do these great things. What are
Mhm.
the upsides to being part of a DAO on Upstream? Just to go a little bit further down the rabbit hole of DAOs.
Yeah. So personally, I think some of the upsides are one, it's very easy to use. So we prioritize user friendly community. So anybody could start it. You don't need any technical experience. All you really need is like the name of the DAO and obviously your token. And that's one of my favorite things. But also another good thing is like we're really open to feedback right now. So we're actually creating our roadmap based on the feedback we get from current DAOs and also like our members. And another great thing about like starting a DAO Upstream is you can vote and manage your DAO from your app. So if you're familiar with Web3 at all, like I feel like mobile friendly Web3 isn't a thing yet. So I feel like that's something I'm really proud of our tech team for locking in.
Yeah, and I haven't yet joined the DAO, but what I find it's very easy once you have a hot wallet. I use MetaMask and a few others, but MetaMask specifically. Do you find that most people gravitate? And this is an off Upstream question. Do you find that most people, when they're going to go DeFi, really go towards the MetaMask wallet?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think it's because, you are, the more you hear somebody use something, and also like if you're asking like 20 people and 18 out of the 20 are using MetaMask, you're most likely going to use MetaMask.
I agree. And so, again, there's probably maybe 5 or 6 wallets that I'm aware of, but MetaMask seems to be the wallet that I think will continue to collect and grab market share of wallet users in the DeFi space as they go away from centralized, whether it's Coinbase or Voyager. Making sure that they can transfer their tokens out. So it is the Ethereum token when they connect their wallet. Are they having to purchase a different token, or are they just connecting as long as they have Ethereum in their wallet? They connect their wallet, they can then get involved with the DAO.
Yeah, so we're actually only on Ethereum right now. So we're going to be testing out different blockchains in the near future. But the way we do it is primarily Ethereum, but also like we'll ask the DAOs to create their own tokens, just a way for them to know what their value is and also like keep track of who's hosting tokens and all of that. So however, like NFTs could actually be the token into DAOs depending on what communities are a part of it.
So if you have this particular non-fungible token, you then have access to that particular DAO if you want to join up. Got it. And so
Exactly.
what do you think the long-term benefits financially, not, and again, this is not about getting rich, getting quick, but it's about growing wealth together as a community. That's the whole point in DAOs. What do you think the upside long term, with a diamond mine, diamond hands approach? What do you think that long term upside is for people? If they get involved, I mean, obviously, at a certain point, somebody's like, "Hey, I no longer want to be part of that DAO. I want to go to a different one." Or do you think that they're kind of having to time what's in that particular wallet and what money they're able to have as a part of their share of ownership?
Yeah, yeah. So I think DAOs will allow people to learn. Well, for a long-term investment is like, let's say if you're in a group of 20 people and you're completely new to the space, but there's some, sharks in the room or in the DAO, that you're learning, what they're investing in, and you're understanding how they do research, and they'll describe all of that in the DAO, just because if they're putting proposals, which is ideas that they want the rest of their crowd to vote on, they'll definitely include research, especially if it's like something no one has heard about. So when you're in a DAO for the long term, it's really important to understand like what type of proposals go through, but also like see understanding the trend of, okay, it looks like people are leaning towards DeFi or land in the metaverse, or these all these NFT projects that we are buying into all have great communities or an amazing team behind it, right? So figuring out why people are investing in different things, but also like learning how they're kind of sharing their knowledge and backing it up.
Absolutely. And I think that's another very big important part is that indirectly by joining some of these DAOs long term and looking at the proposals and looking at the white paper, and then obviously taking some of that strategy on the group that you're part of, that you're vested into, and then implementing possibly some of those strategies. We always talk about we're not financial advisors. We look at how communities are moving and we talk a lot about social currency. And that's something that you guys over at Upstream really have. I want to talk a little bit
Mhm.
about the conversations, some of the people. What is the most notable speakers that you've had come in, just top of mind for you, right? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but top of mind that comes to you that this was a great speaker and wow, I just learned a tremendous amount and it got me to think differently about Web3 digital assets.
Yeah, yeah. So I would say one that I really remember is actually our first speaker of the year is Avery Ekanini. So she's the president of Vayner NFT, and she's like, she's building products and go to market strategies for some of the top brands in the world. So I feel like just seeing how being in the real life can be reflected in the NFT space is was like one of my favorite things
I
from
love
that.
it. I'm gonna have to go back in and just check out and just follow her on the
Yeah.
platform just to get and learn some more insider information. We talk a lot about reading and engaging with video content. What is the content that has been most powerful for you, whether it's reading or video content, people that inspire you as you go from the Web 2 to Web 3 space?
Yeah, yeah. So not to shed light on Upstream, but um, Alex, our co-founder, he actually launched a series that you can find on our YouTube channel. And it was literally a step by step on how to create your wallet, how to create your Coinbase account, how to buy your first NFT, how to get involved. So we have about 6 or 7 videos for that series, and we definitely gained a lot of traction and popularity through that. And also, like, the reason that this kind of came about was because I just joined Upstream, and I was like, we need to do, like, I don't know, I don't have a MetaMask. Like, you're over here buying pudgy penguins. Like, how do I get in this? He goes, oh, we should just do a series about that. I'm like, okay, let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah,
So
it's funny because on some of those presentations where it's him and Drew, and we'll talk a little bit about Knights in a minute, when it's him and Drew, they'll literally be on the call and be like, you know what, I think I'm going to hop into this project. All right, boom, I'm minting right now, or I'm going on to OpenSea and I'm grabbing this, secondary sales. You know, I always say that it's listen, learn, conceptualize, and implement how I approach this Web3 space. What was the biggest challenge right now? Because when you started on Upstream, it was Web 2, and now it's really going heavy Web 3 because there's a lot of interest and momentum around NFTs and crypto. What was your biggest challenge just doing that?
I feel like my biggest challenge was figuring out how we're going to onboard all of our current Upstream users into the Web3 space, but also making sure that both sides, Web2 and Web3, are taken care of. So for us, like, educational was kind of like a really easy way to do it because we're all learning at the same time. But yeah, just tending to different community needs is like something that I'm always thinking about. Um, so that was one of the hardest things. But also another hard thing is, onboarding more minorities into the space. So as I'm getting into the space, I'm always thinking, okay, how can we, bring on more women, more underrepresented communities? Like, what are we doing to show up for them, not just for ourselves?
Yeah, there's only 16% women in this digital space, according to a number that I was reading the other day. I won't source it because I don't remember where I grabbed it from, but that's a pretty low number. And I think women in this space and minorities add a tremendous amount of value. And I think there's a lot of opportunity as well in this space. And so I'm really happy to hear that that's something that you're passionate about. You know, the the ability to get to do the DAO and to learn about this, and that it's all been sort of, when you say coded for you, right? So it's that DAO in a box. Kind of thinking about it, if you go to the store and you grabbed a Christmas tree, you just pull it out of the box and you set it up, and there are the instructions. And I love the fact that Alex, and you might want to make this recommendation, shout out to them and the Upstream team, everyone, is that those videos that he did a while ago, I would continue to bring those circling through on a loop, because even me at this point with multiple wallets, there's always these little nuances that I might miss, or there might be this little thing that I'm not quite sure of what to do. And I think it's really great, because when I think about people that are credible in the space with getting through the process part of it, he is. Now, I want to talk to you. You have an NFT, as do I, and it's in the same collection. It's Knights of Degen. And we'll actually, in the show, we'll kind of throw those in. So tell me about your Knight of Degen and why you got involved, and what the traits are that you like in this particular one that you purchased, and what you like about the overall project.
Yeah, so I actually have a really good story to share with you guys all. So, Nights of Degen has been on top of mind for a while, just because, Drew going to those weekly NFT meetings, I was like, okay, I'm learning a lot from him. He's like really trying to bring utility to his project, which is something I really admire. He's like always finding ways to get members involved. So I was like, all right, I knew I was going to buy into Nights of Degen. But since I was buying on the secondary market, I was like, okay, like let me buy like my dream NFT for the Knights of Degen. And I was looking through all of them, and I started filtering them out, because on OpenSea you can actually filter out NFTs based on like some of their qualities that they have. So I was looking for female athletes. So I filtered that out, and then I came across the one that or it's actually I think I did female soccer ball. So I filtered out, and I came across the one that I have, which is also my display picture. And it was an underrepresented female holding a soccer ball, eating a pizza. And I was like, this is the one I 100% have to get. I need to buy it from the owner. So I go to see who the owner is, and I saw that it was Gary Vaynerchuk's brother, AJ. So I was like, okay,
Oh,
like I know AJ because he's friends with Drew and all that. So let me just message him on Twitter. And he has like thousands and thousands of followers. I'm like, okay, what are the chances he's going to answer me? So I reached out to him, and I was like, hey, AJ, like you never know unless you ask, right? Like, would you be down to sell me your Knights of Degen NFTs? Like, I am an unrepresented female myself who loves soccer and pizza, and it only makes sense for me to have this NFT. And he was like, sure. So I made him an offer at floor price, because I did not want to go lower than the floor price, just because it would have
yeah.
brought the value of the NFT project down. And like, I did not want to do that to Drew. Um, so I bought it, and yeah, so I bought my NFT, and I'm super like, it was just such an amazing moment to, go through that hassle of buying NFTs, but also like in a normal world, you probably wouldn't have everybody as open and helpful as him. So that was definitely a good sign that he was part of the project, and he was willing to trade like that too.
I love it. I love it. So, we've talked a lot about the Upstream. We've talked a lot about the value of DAOs. I'm always talking about, NFT reviews and interviewing people, that I feel that it was really important to go over the value of DAOs. How should somebody, if they're new to the space, how should they come into Upstream, and who are the people that initially, if they want to learn about Web3, who should they initially connect with, and what groups should they join, and how easy is it to join Upstream?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So, Upstream is, in my opinion, easy to use. Like, I feel like once you attend one or two, maybe even three events, you'll have the hang of it. But the whole purpose of Upstream is to prioritize giving and receiving help through serendipitous moments. So if it's your first time on Upstream, I definitely recommend joining the Early Birds community. My team and I, we run that, and that's really for educational purposes in the Web3 space, but also we're going to start curating it to bring more Web3 people together. and also the NFT community. So they host an event every single Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern time, and they're just dropping knowledge. But I also would say start off with the early birds that way because it's a little bit more entry level, and then like once you start getting familiar with NFTs, or if you've already been in the space for some time, definitely head to that one. That was like more of like advanced. But yeah, when you attend virtual events, you actually will have access to breakout rooms after the speaker's done. So you get matched with another attendee of the event right after the speaker's done. And then there's also an office hours feature. So you can book time and chat with anybody who has office hours available, and you can actually filter it out by crypto.
I can attest to that because that's how you and I originally connected. And people can
Yes.
go to the Play Store and literally just download it as an app. It's Upstream. It's a little dolphin symbol. We'll actually put that in the video content as well so that people can see it. 30 different DAOs you guys currently have, private group chats, buying NFTs together. If I were new to the space and I wanted to get involved in something that had a high upside of knowledge, finance, we don't know, but a high upside of knowledge and also diversification within the platform. This is great. I mean, it's one of my favorite things to go to because I can then go in and message people. And over time, I'm starting to become more and more involved. But when I first initially hopped on, the whole platform was really exciting. It was new and it was great because I was going to Twitter and Discord, but this gave me an option that I felt had direct and specific value for a lot of what I'm always continuing to learn, because every day I'm humbled by this space on how much I absolutely don't know and how much I'm learning at every corner. What is the best way for people to connect with you?
Yeah, I would say Twitter. My DMs are always open, and I like to connect people through Twitter, like just create group chats, or through the Upstream app itself. Like, I always I have office hours every week, so you can just book a time to chat with me, and then you can even attend from mobile or your computer. So those are definitely two easy ways.
Awesome. Do you think we covered it all today with Upstream?
No, I don't think we did. I do have a question for you, Craig.
Shoot.
You know, as like you've been hosting these, you're bringing knowledge to the NFT community, the Web3 community. Like, what is something that myself or anyone listening can do for you?
Oh, thank you. I think that it's, as I look to grow this channel, and the reason that I named it Craig's Crypto Corner is that there's a scam and an opportunity at every corner. And it's really to connect with credible people, because as our ecosystem continues to grow and Web3 becomes more dominant with mainstream, Starbucks is stepping into the realm. I mean, it's amazing. I think for me, I just want to continue to interview people, continue to read and learn, and continue to present great information to my audience. So for me, if people like Craig's Crypto Corner and the content that they share and that subscribers grow, and that I have the chance maybe one day, if this is, if it's meant to be, is that this is something that I do every day, all day, because I absolutely love connecting with people in the space. And I'm fascinated with NFTs and DAOs and platforms such as Upstream, which has been phenomenal in my learning curve. So that's what I would answer to you.
Awesome. I love it. I'll definitely see how I can introduce you to people, but also share this once it's live. So thank you, Craig.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming on to Craig's Crypto Corner. It's an honor to have you on, and I want to continue to support your growth as you get through these next years of answering all the questions. And I think more importantly, the learning curve as more and more people come into the space, and hopefully more and more people come onto Upstream, because it is an incredibly great platform.
Awesome. Amazing, Craig. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.